Contribution to Nigerian peace.
I want make all of now look at the disability in Nigeria. When we want to take steps every day to make this country a better place.
Education is telling them it's time to change.
All colors, shades, angles, and perspectives can be overwhelming in our present world of information overload. This is introducing Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a current affairs discussion phone-in program covering topical issues in the polity. The program is a platform for an in-depth analysis of trending issues by professionals, authorities in various fields, analysts, and key actors in the polity. Ground Zero gives the listener an opportunity to contribute to the discussion via phone call, SMS, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. From the conservatively serious to the ridiculously funny, Ground Zero accommodates them all. Professionals, urban contemporary businessmen and women, policymakers, public service workers, students, artisans, traders, and the in-between. Ground Zero comes up on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. and Saturdays 4 to 5 p.m. Ground Zero. This program is exclusive to Invicta 98.9 FM. Tune in.
Hello, it's a nice and lovely Saturday evening, and you're right here tuned to Invicta 98.9 FM. It's the time for the Never Dull Moment program on radio, Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a program where we pick up topical issues in the polity and we talk about the trending issues, things that people need to know and things that people need to correct about our society. This is the place where we get to talk about it. And today on the program Ground Zero, we have something that's been trending, not only online, but even offline, on the street and everywhere, and people are talking about it. And this has to do with rape and gender-based violence in Nigeria. That is a thing that's been happening. But the big story is that there is a conspiracy of silence. And also, we have also realized that there is also family members and security agents conniving to suppress justice in some cases, while some family members also are out there to make sure that there is justice. All of this and much more we shall be looking at today on the program Ground Zero. But meanwhile, you can be a part of the program by going to the various Invicta FM social media handles and adding your comments to the post that is already up. Yes, you can go to Invicta FM Kaduna on Facebook. That's Invicta FM Kaduna on Facebook. There you will see the post. Do add your comments. Of course, you can also go to the Invicta FM Twitter handle at Invicta FM 989. And also to the program specific Twitter handle at Ground 0989. There you can also add your voice to the conversation. Meanwhile, on the program today, I have the honor and privilege of having the Honorable Commissioner for Human Services and Social Development as one of my guests. I'll be linking up to her in the course of the program. And also seated in the studio, I have someone from the Center for Resolution and Study of Domestic Violence, CESDOF, in the person of Bilkis Yusuf. Bilkis Yusuf, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you.
All right. And I also have with me online another guest that will be contributing offline in the person of Hawa Gambo. Hawa Gambo is a relation of a rape victim, and she's going to share her experiences with us on the program. Hawa, you're welcome to Ground Zero.
I'm glad to be part of the program, but just to be clear, Hawa Gambo is the person who did the link. I am Hawa Suleiman.
Okay.
And for reasons we understand, I'm going to be keeping my sister's identity
yes.
hidden. Yes.
Yes. All right, Hawa Suleiman, thank you so much.
Thank you.
for being on the program with us today. Okay. Now we'll because I know you have an extremely tight schedule, we'd like to go straight into you giving us some of the experiences of the victim and how the family was able to cope with this. And so far, how far?
Well, I would say it has been a very traumatic experience for me as a sister of a rape victim, and I can only imagine how she feels being the victim herself, because I had to rush to Kaduna when the incident happened to offer her some level of support and see what we can do about the situation. Unfortunately, she wasn't interested in pressing any charges because the person who molested her was masked, and she said even if he wasn't masked, she was too afraid to look at his face, so she can't even identify him. She believes reporting to the police would be fruitless. But I told her, well, this is what we should do as citizens. It is what is expected. You are supposed to go to the hospital, and you're also in fact you're supposed to go to the police station first, I think, to make a report and then proceed to the hospital to get tested. I tried to convince her because she was in shock at the time it happened, but eventually the following day I succeeded in convincing her to make a report, and we went to the police station in Kurumamashi, since that is where her house is. And we after filling the forms and everything, one of the police officers initially, while interrogating her, was like, but why didn't you scream? I said, excuse me, she already told you this person had a knife to her neck, so you can't even ask her these kinds of questions. I said, we're just dealing with a 19-year-old girl who was killed in Lagos because she tried to resist rape. And here is a rape victim who has summoned courage to come to you to tell you that this thing happened to her, and you are already asking her questions that seem like you're blaming her.
Yeah.
Anyway, he understood, and after all the questions, because we kept going from desk to desk to desk, that was also an issue I had, even though my sister seemed like she was strong, but I kept asking why she has to narrate this story over and over again, because it's like you're asking her to constantly relive this experience that is obviously, yes, bitter for her. Yeah. Anyway, we finished with the report, and they said we should wait to see the DPO, which we did for about 2 hours or thereabouts, just to see the DPO. And upon reaching her office, immediately I saw that it was a woman. I was a little bit relieved, because I was like, okay, finally we are going to deal with probably somebody who would understand what the situation is, because she's a woman. But the way she looked at us was so discouraging. She looked at us with so much disgust, and I started feeling discouraged, but I kept my cool, because we are here to find solutions. The first thing this woman would ask my sister is, Madam, Mesa Beki Ihuba. Then my sister said, I already told you in my report that this person had a knife to my head. And there's been an experience, there was once a situation in that compound where a thief entered one of the houses, and the person in the house screamed and nobody came out. So I was afraid that if I scream, it takes just 1 minute for somebody to stab another person.
Less than a minute.
So, exactly. So she explained that, and the DPO said, so just because he had a knife to your head, you couldn't scream, meaning a knife is not a good enough weapon, to stop a rape victim. At that point, I was like, no, I can't take this. Madam, you are harassing my sister. She is a rape victim, and you are not asking the right questions. You should be asking. The first thing you should do is at least put her at ease, ask her if she's even ready to talk. Then ask her if she suspects anybody, or if she thinks there's anyone who has reason to do this, if she has been to the hospital. We see movies. Yeah. We know how these things work in saner times. You don't just attack her like that. And Madam DPO walked us out of her office, because apparently she said I was trying to teach her job. She walked us out. She said she wasn't going to take the case. And while I was because I was already mad and screaming on top of my voice, one of her policemen said, are they the ones who raped my sister? Why will I come and be shouting there?
You can imagine.
That if I'm not careful, they are going to detain me, and I can be raped there for all they care. nothing is going to happen.
Suspected.
That was exactly what happened in Kurumashi police station. I later got to find out that the DPO is one SP Ladi Usman also, though we are trying to make other moves to see how we can take the complaint further and see what can be done.
Okay. How long ago was this experience?
The rape happened on the 1st of this month, and we went to make the complaint on the 2nd. So this was basically 4 days ago.
Okay. I wouldn't know if you've been able to reach out to even the state government, because I know that they are keeping records of things like this.
Yes, absolutely. We were able to reach one way or the other the Commissioner of Women Affairs, and she is absolutely interested in the case.
Yeah.
We hope that she's going to do something. We just don't want to preempt anything yet or
Okay.
make it seem like, yes, we are just making a lot of noise about the whole thing. So we're letting her do her thing at the
I
time.
may come in, ma.
Okay, we have someone here. She wants to ask a question.
If I may come
Okay.
in, something will definitely be done. Because the
Right.
state government has already come up with a group called the Gender-Based Violence Actors, GBV Actors.
Okay.
So, and the reason why the police station could treat you like that is because they saw that you came alone. There was no extra support. And so that became an issue, and it was easy for them to treat you like that. And their police station and the DPO would definitely be put in their place, because this is one of the reasons why such group was actually brought up. So
Absolutely.
I will personally, I'm picking interest in the case, and I don't mind taking action with immediate effect.
Thank
Alright.
you very much. I would actually appreciate it, because what I kept telling, she was saying, as a journalist, I don't even know my job. Why would I come and scream? I said, I'm not just a journalist. I'm also a victim here, because I am a family member and I am here to support. And the worst part of it was my sister was crying and begging this woman to please ignore me and attend to her. But she walked her out of her office. She didn't even consider the fact that the victim was begging. No. She focused on the victim's sister, who was visibly hurt by the way her sister was being treated. And I just felt bad about the whole situation, because it's not just about her being a woman, it's about her being a police woman. You are supposed to be the first person to talk to a rape victim. So I think they need a certain amount of training so they understand how much this hurts. Because for every woman that witnessed what happened that day, she's never going to report a rape case.
Definitely.
She's never going to do it, because my sister kept saying, look, I'm not even worried about what the guy did to me. I feel more violated by my husband, who, by the way, also treated her badly, either because he doesn't believe she was raped or because he feels irritated by the situation, and didn't give her the support she needed. Because we also felt like if her husband was there with her at the time, the police wouldn't have treated her that way.
Definitely.
So she said she feels more violated by her husband and by the police, even more than the guy. So this is the situation we are dealing with. People need to understand how much damage rape does to people, how much damage it does to women. And if we don't get it right, they are going to die in silence. Victims are going to die in silence rather than talk.
Yes, and the most important thing for us to understand is the fact that women are the people that actually tolerate this. So I'm not surprised at the action of the DPO. They are the perpetrators, and they are the ones that cover it up, even within the family.
So I sincerely want to appreciate you for having time to be with us to share this experience. I want to thank you again. That was Hawa Suleiman.
Thank you very much.
A relation of a victim sharing experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. All right.
Bye.
The program is still Ground Zero right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. Before we come back to the studio to go on with the conversation, I'd like to bring on board now the Honorable Commissioner for Human Services and Social Development in the person of Haja Hafsat Baba. We'll be also connecting to her via phone so that we'll also talk about some of these things. She's one person that's been very active in that area and has been doing so much, and would like her to also shed some more light on what the state government is doing in respect of all of this. And let's see if we'll take it from there. I'm trying to connect to her now. She has an extremely very busy schedule, and I just played with her to give us some few minutes of her schedule. She's actually in the middle of a meeting, And while we are trying to connect with her, let's go on with the conversation right here in the studio. Like I said, the guest that I have in the studio with me is Bilikis Yusuf. She's from the Center for the Resolution and Study of Domestic Violence. Now, you had the experience that was shared by Hawa Suleiman and how she was treated. Let's backstep it a little bit and go to the basics now. First of all, what are some of the reasons that would make a man or a woman want to rape someone? Because it's not only men raping women.
Yes, it's both sex, or I would say both gender, that actually does it.
Yeah.
Even though there is a belief that one is higher than the other. However, it is because one is reported and the other is not reported, because no man will want to come out and say he was raped. Because of the patriarchal nature of the society, you are expected that you are the stronger person, so that shouldn't be happening to you. Now, as for the reasons why someone would want to rape, the reasons that were given before is promiscuity on the part of the victim, the way you are dressed, being at the wrong place at the right time for the perpetrator. However, looking at the recent happenings, all those definitions have actually changed. Because even babies, 2-year-old, less than a year, are being raped right now. So what would you say a 2-year-old is wearing or putting on that is actually attractive? Good.
Oh, wow.
Good. So that definition doesn't really suffice anymore. However, right now, rape, the perpetrators, I wouldn't really say have any good reason, because there is no good reason for such an action. However, we can claim that they are actually people that are not balanced mentally. Because even fathers rape their children. So what would be their reason? And then at times they feel that they've been cited by the victims. Perhaps they've asked them out on a date and the victims rejected them. Or they just want to see what the victim looks like, for those that do not actually see the way they are dressed. Because even persons in hijabs get raped. So it's a worse scenario that you can't really give a particular reason as to why the perpetrators do it.
Okay, but what actually constitutes rape now? What constitutes rape? Is it only carnal knowledge, or where does it start and where does it
Even
end?
carnal knowledge has categories. Carnal knowledge, is it with the organs? Carnal knowledge with other things? Carnal knowledge with fingers? So even carnal knowledge constitutes different levels of it. So it's any thought, any type of sexual assault that the consent of the victim is not sought. Okay. Not only consent of the victim being sought these days, because even a child cannot give consent. So even some victims are not at the stage where they can give consent to it. So it's any type of assault sexually that is against the consent of the victim.
Okay, now, and by the time it happens, what are the steps or procedure that the victim should take, or people close to the victim should take, to get justice?
The thing now is every state has their own level of stages that you are supposed to actually go through. However, as a family, you are forced to show support. Like the victim now doesn't have the support of the husband. And then after showing support, you need to know the right persons to meet before you even take the case to the police station. Because the victim has to be prepped, has to be listened to, has to be taken to a level where they feel comfortable discussing it without thinking it's their fault. Because taking them to face up with policemen that would start asking questions as if the victim actually deserves it or calls for it, makes it harder for the victim to even pursue the case or report it. So that's why there are some human activists that you have here and there that the state now has come and put into a group that you can actually meet up with. Each area has its own people.
All right.
And this group...
Let's take the Honorable Commissioner now. Okay. Hello, good evening, ma'am. Hello. Hello. Hello, good evening. We seem to have lost the commissioner. Would try and get her back. We'll get her back now. Okay, let's.
Okay.
While we are trying
so, like
to
I
get...
said, there is a group that has been set up by the governor, And this group, to make things easy for the victims and their families, comprises of every aspect or process that you're supposed to go through. It has the group that deals with health, that will make sure that the victim gets checked up and any evidence that needs to be gotten, we get it. It has a counseling and psychosocial section. It has people from the uniform community, such as NSC.
Hello. Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hello?
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Hello?
Hello, good evening, ma'am. The network is really acting up. We are trying to connect to the Commissioner for Human Services, and the network is really acting up. And okay, we'll still try to connect. Let's.
So we have group from the people in the uniform community, which is the police, the agendas desk officers, and have been trained together with every other group. And then also we have feeder, people in the law section.
Yeah.
So all these people put together are going to guide the victim and their families in reporting.
Hello, do we have the Honorable Commissioner, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, please, you are on Invicta FM radio, and we are talking about rape and gender-based violence in Nigeria. And we've been following your work, and we know your ministry and you particularly have been doing so much in the area of protecting and providing support for victims.
Yes.
All right, ma. In recent times, we've had so many cases of rape in Kaduna State, and we have also seen how some victims have been treated and handled, and by family members, and of course by some security agents. And in the area of family members, there seem to be this conspiracy of silence, where family members would even be negotiating for financial settlement from those that have attacked victims. Now,
Yes.
what is the state government through our ministry doing to, first of all, protect the victim and seek justice for the victim?
Yes, okay, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So this is becoming really very disturbing at the rate we are going, because there is no day that you don't hear violence against persons, most especially against children and also teenagers. This is unacceptable, first and foremost. And as you know, and you have just mentioned, I don't want to start with challenges, but these are some of the challenges that we face. The government of Kaduna State, its responsibility is to protect each and every person in the state. So children inclusive and adults as well. And that is why we have a law protecting these children. So you see, once there's any rape case or any violence against any persons, our responsibility first and foremost is to ensure the victim is secured, is protected, and we have to find a place to keep that person.
Okay.
If it has something to do with the hospital, we immediately take that child to the hospital,
Okay.
to get medical attention. Then the other processes will commence, such as I'm sure the family will report first,
Yeah.
and we'll continue from there up to the time that every ministry will have to come in, Ministry of Justice, also the courts and everything. So you see, but at the rate we are going, I believe that each and every one of us has a role to play.
Okay.
First and foremost, the family and the immediate parents of the victim.
Yeah.
And then secondly, now the government, including also the community.
Yeah.
But it's not all the victims that actually the family negotiate,
Yes.
because there are families that actually are interested in having justice for their children. And those are the kind of families, we like. Because certain times also you find out that when you start the process, in the middle of it, the family gets fed up.
Yeah.
And they would want to withdraw, or there is certain pressure from quarters, and they would want to withdraw. So the thing is that this issue of violence against persons, against children, this is something that each and every one of us has to stand up
and ensure that we commit ourselves to protecting the victims.
Yeah.
The security agencies, they have a role to play. The community, they have a role to play. The government, they have a role to play. So it's a collective responsibility, including the media itself, because the media also, we use the media to enlighten, to sensitize, and to ensure that we pass messages, just the way I am doing now.
Yeah.
So I believe that this is something that all of us have to actually take full responsibility, no matter what.
All right. All right. Ma, recently in parts of Kaduna State... Hello, Ma, can you hear me? Hello, are you with me? Hello? Oh, the network acting up again. We'll still try to reconnect back to the Honorable Commissioner so that we exhaustively talk about these issues. Coming back to the studio, talking about families coming to negotiate with perpetrators of rape crime against victims, and even just like the commissioner mentioned, halfway through the process, they may get tired of the whole process, either abandon the case or even still come up with negotiating with the perpetrator of this. What exactly is the reason for this? Is it the economic situation, or is it the wrong orientation, or what exactly?
Basically, the first reason is they feel that if they do not do that, they don't gain anything and they still don't get justice. That's the reason some of the parents give. It's just like your child has been raped, nothing can be done, nothing can be changed, the perpetrator goes scot-free. So why not gain something in the process? But what they don't understand is that you are going to make the victim feel as if what has happened was okay. And also the people that are supposed to actually stand their ground so that things don't go that way, so that things in the criminal justice system are better, do not get to know what happened.
All right, ma. We are back to the commissioner, ma.
Yes.
Sorry, the network was really acting up.
Absolutely.
Yes, now, we are looking at, I know that there is a register for sex offenders in Kaduna State. And recently there was a case that happened around Narai where a particular lady was raped by 5 persons. And we know that the state government is really taking this. What level of assurance are you giving to the public now that the state government will see this case to its logical conclusion?
Well, let me even tell you that today, this morning, OC Legal from Police CID headquarters actually called. Okay. He's on top of the matter. He's investigating. And we have full confidence that she's going to get justice. We are following up and we're not giving up.
So you have all heard it. The commissioner who is speaking on behalf of the government is telling everybody that the state government is going to be behind you to make sure that they see any case, any violation against any person to its logical conclusion. Finally, ma, just give a word of advice to the people, because I know that I just pulled you out of a meeting before we go.
Okay, so my advice is that first and foremost, all of us must take responsibility, from the parents to the neighbors to the whole community, stakeholders. The government will be there. It is there to protect and to see justice being done. And all of us are going to put our hands on deck to ensure justice for the victim. But at the same time, also, I'm soliciting for the support of the media to engage us all the time so that at least we can talk to the people.
Yeah.
I believe that where our legs cannot go, but our voices can go there.
Yes.
So you have so many listeners, millions of them, and we are sure that when we pass our message, they are ready to listen. We thank you very much for the support.
Thank you very much, ma. We'll go into the phone-in section anytime. If there are questions, sorry, I may still have to call you maybe like in 25 minutes' time.
Thank you very much. Feel free to call.
All right. Thank you so much, ma.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, let's come back to the studio, Bilkis.
Yes, so like I was saying earlier, and then some families actually pull out halfway because of what I call shaming.
Yeah.
The family gets shamed by the community. They start listening to religious and traditional leaders that have less knowledge about the processes, but make them feel as if their daughter will never get married, for example. She will never be appreciated by her husband. She won't be able to walk on the street. So the shaming that comes with it allows parents to rethink fighting or actually going further after reporting the case. So until that can be reduced to barest minimum, and for parents to understand the fact that it is your child that you're actually killing quietly if you do not fight for their rights. And that means the perpetrator may continue doing it and do it to the extent that the victims will become younger by age as the time goes on, because they believe they can actually get away with it. Yes.
Very, very sad and unfortunate situation, but I'm sure that with everybody putting their hands on deck, we'll be able to reduce or even stop in totality cases of rape and violence and domestic violence. Now, talking about getting counseling for victims of all of this, because even in the process of seeking justice, the life of the victim shouldn't be put on hold.
Yes.
All forms of support should be given to that victim.
Yes.
What form of counseling would a rape victim need?
A rape victim will, number one, need to feel safe to even discuss the issue. After they feel safe, there is a need for the listener not to make the rape victim feel as if it's the end of the world. There is active listening, and then there is listening whereby you are actually taking over the situation, making it seem as if you actually feel what the person is feeling. Meanwhile, you can never understand how they are feeling. So, but in listening actively, there is a need for you not to make them feel as if it's the end of the world for them. So listen, pick the necessary things that you are supposed to pick from what they have said, and then try to rebuild the self-security, the self-assurance, the self-confidence of the victim, letting them know that nothing you have done has made you deserve what has happened to you.
And it has not make you less a human being.
No! You are still that brilliant, intelligent, young person that can achieve everything that you can in the world.
Yeah.
So there is a need for a counseling that doesn't really break down. And then you watch the questions that you ask. For example, at the police station, they're asking her, why didn't you scream? People need to understand that when it comes to rape, there is a few minutes of shock that the victim goes through, that they can't even move or say anything.
Yeah.
So how do you expect such a person to scream and shout and try to fight the person off? So the questions that will be asked by the counselor need to be questions that help the victim and not what make the victim feel pulled down further. So these are the processes that needs to be done before the health of the victim is also taken up.
Okay, we'll be getting across to the police PPRO any minute from now, so that he would also add his voice to the conversation, and let's take it from there. But meanwhile, any minute from now, we'll be opening up the phone lines so that you can call in and share your experience or advice, and let's see how we can live in a saner or healthier society. The program is Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM, and today we are looking at rape and gender-based violence in Nigeria. Conspiracy of silence, and how family members and security agents connive to suppress justice. This is something that is real. This is something that is happening, and you can see the experience that was shared by the relation of a victim earlier in the program. Okay, 081400989 is the number that you can call us. You can also go to our Facebook page where we have the post up, and also add your voice to the conversation over there. That's at Invicta FM Kaduna on Facebook page, and at Ground 0989 on Twitter. Any of those will be able to talk to you. Meanwhile, we are trying to get across to the police public relations officer to also give us the perspective of the security agents in respect of protecting, defending, and helping to seek justice for victims of rape and domestic violence. Okay, while we are trying to get across to him, let's take this call. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Mr. Reese.
Good evening, Engineer Emmanuel.
Thank you. I think the judge they have spoken very well. Even the person representing the state governor has spoken very well. But you see, in my own point of view, yes, Engineer Emmanuel, in my own point of view, let there be a law, a stiff law that will serve as a deterrent that will, just like the one we had yesterday, that somebody was sentenced
To
by
death.
hanging in Zaria.
Yeah.
I think it's a welcome one. If it will go like that, and it will be an open hanging, so that people will see that this is the crime this guy committed and is paying for it, so that it will serve as a deterrent. And the parents that are compromising the investigation, maybe a son of an elite has done such an evil act, and they want to threaten the person that even you go to the authority, he is influential, they will not get justice, you better take some peanuts and let the matter end like that. You know, there are people that they will tell such a word, and seeing the person that is telling them such a word, and they will say they have no choice than to do that. But I think no matter who that is involved in rape is a bad thing and is condemnable, whosoever, whether you are the son of whatsoever, and you are caught that you commit that act, the law.
Yeah.
There should not be a secret cow in terms of dealing with the person that commits this evil act.
Okay.
So please, I think this death sentence by hanging is a good one, and it will be death sentence by hanging in public saying. So
Yeah.
let it serve as a deterrent, because this thing is getting out of hand. Look at the one that 22 years old boy raped his grandmother of 70-something years. For God's sake. This thing is getting out of hand, and the government need to sit up. I don't know why anything that pertains to the common man, they take it for they just take it like that. But if it is the elite, they will take it serious. They will pass a law immediately to protect their own interest.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Emmanuel. I can see that you are very, very angry about what's happening. Hello, good evening. Hello. Yes, good evening.
You are on to Ayekinafa. Good evening to you again.
All right.
You see, honestly, it is a strong law has to be enacted, and which will take care of this issue.
Yeah.
But you see, this rape issue has been committed or done by parents of the victim by themselves, which is very unfortunate. I had somebody where a father is raping their daughters. Fathers raping their daughters is very common.
Yeah.
It's very touching. I've never heard of a woman raping her own daughter, but severally we have heard how fathers are raping their own daughter. This has to be done, and it should be taken with very serious issue. Because if the civil organization, people, what could happen to other people that commit against other victims?
Yeah.
I think that issue has to be addressed.
Yeah.
Honestly, happening about enough for us to lock ourselves inside house and begin to cry and be asking for God forgiveness.
All right.
And the other issue of this adjournment thing in the court. Sometimes they keep adjourning. The parents sometimes they lose hope of continuing to follow the case. I hope, as I'm happy that the commissioner said that they are ready and they are ready to get to the root of any of all cases of drug. Nobody should stop.
Yeah.
Nobody should stop the COVID. Thank you for being blessed.
Thank you so much. The network did not quite allow you to do justice to it, but we were able to pick a thing or two. Like I said, you can go to our social media page and also drop your comment. On Facebook, Elder Dare is saying, that's Elder Dare Adebanjo. His post says, it's unfortunate that this evil called rape is rearing its ugly head. The law enforcement agencies should be up to their billing. Billing parents should be equally alive to their responsibility. All of us are stakeholders in this menace. Please, no stigmatization for victims. It's a collective thing. All must be involved. When you see something, say something. Let's take this call before we go take some other messages. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello?
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening. What's your
My
name?
name is Tima.
Say again.
Tima.
All right. What's your contribution, please?
I'm calling from Ghana. My own contribution on this issue is this. the problem on this road is this. There is delay in justice.
Okay.
There is delay in justice. So when this justice continues, it may be in the court of law or in the police station, as the delays keep on going, the issue keep on dying down. So if there's rapid justice that is going on, I think it will serve as a deterrent to anybody that is engaging into this raping issue.
Okay.
So now there are so many raping issues that have been swept under the carpet that even the public did not know how it went about. That is the truth.
Okay.
And I had a conversation of the experience, this recent experience that this lady said on this program.
Yes.
You can imagine how a policewoman is attending to another woman like her. I don't know, is it that he's supporting it or what? And another consideration is this. Sir.
Yes, I'm listening.
On this gender violence, I have noticed that even men, the boys, have been violated also.
Yeah.
Because right now I have two friends who, when they were 15 years, they were also raped by their niece. But nobody look at the area of the male child also. Although even the females are also conspicuous. I want to say, okay, this too should also the advocacy should be on both sides.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, for instance, I have seen a situation where a woman beat her husband up.
That's
Now,
gender-based violence. And that's domestic violence.
Violence, but nobody speaks on that.
It's the unfortunate society that we live in where they believe that how can your wife beat you?
Imagine.
They will just say, how can your wife? Oh, but there are so many men that are suffering in silence. And I'm sure that with things that are coming up now, such persons would have areas where they can seek redress. And these problems will be solved. Thank you so much. I'll quickly take one more message from our Facebook page and we'll come back to taking calls. Kelechi Ikeocha is saying that God will help us in the area of rape in this country. Government should do something about this rape thing. God bless us all. Thank God for Kaduna State government, and something is being done. At least there's a register, and also the commissioner is taking it as something that as a battle that must be fought and won. Okay, we'll take this call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello. Hello, good evening. I've lost that. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Comrade Gabriel, the Texas man.
All right, Comrade Gabriel. Quickly, let's have your take in 1 minute.
Yeah, if what one of the guys explained, we were treated by this Pro-Magic police station, DCO.
Yeah.
I think the IG is supposed to look into this matter because I believe what they're supposed to have do is that they will have welcomed them, calm them down, and probably to appreciate the way they brought it to the police. Because our only hope is that whatever happens, we will take it to law enforcement agencies. So, as far as I'm concerned, that man stands to be removed. If the governor is listening to this program, let them make sure that the DPO of police and whoever officer handles this.
It's a woman. It's the DPO is a woman.
And it's just unfortunate that she don't know that maybe herself she is encouraging the rapist. If not, how much you handle these people like this? Yeah. So the person in the studio, the mother at the studio, we are very, very sorry. And that should not discourage her. Let her carry on with her case. What happened in Zaria? I think the judge there passed that somebody should be hanged for raping.
Yes.
So all this, what happened in America, just because they kill one black, you see what is happening there. Do they want us now to revoke against the people who are doing this? Do they want to take law into our hands? So it's just very unfortunate. We thank you for this program, and the public is listening, and definitely we are going to take law into our hands if the police did not do their work well.
Definitely, it will not get to the stage that we'll be taking laws into our hands.
If I may respond.
Yes, please.
In Kaduna State, we are lucky it won't get to that stage. The reasons why you are seeing that there is attention being paid to it is because the governor has taken ownership of the processes. So even if the victim or the parents do not want to take it up, now the perpetrator has a case with the state.
Yes.
So you see,
it's not even the family.
It's
again.
not the family anymore. The
Yeah.
perpetrator now has a case with the governor, the government themselves.
Yeah.
So that makes it easy to pass any law of capital punishment to curb it.
All right. We'll take this call now. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Yes, Mr. Yes, good evening.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yes, my name is Mr. Fresh.
Mr.
And I welcome your guest.
Yes, Mr.
Thank
Fresh.
you.
First of all, I want to wish you a better recovery. How is your health now?
Okay, I thank God. I'm responding to treatment.
All right. Let's have your take.
Yes. Concerning this issue of rape, it's rather unfortunate that this ugly incident keep happening in our country and especially in our state. But I want to commend the efforts of the Kaduna State government in taking proactive action against these people who are into this. But one thing I want to draw attention of everyone is that some of these rapists, I think some of them are ritualists. They are more than who they are. In my opinion, they are more than who we are. There must be some spiritual implication or some ritual activities attached to it. Because if not, like this morning we are hearing a father raping his 9-year-old daughter, it's rather unfortunate. This probably keep happening in our society in this present time. So I want to call on the government that whoever that is caught that is a rapist, let the punishment be that let that person die by hanging instantly. Nothing to be more than that, because all these long processes of court judgment always give them opportunity. Some of them, if they get lawyers that are good, they will be set free. I think the judgment should just be that anybody that is a rapist that is caught he or she should go to jail and should be killed immediately. That is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fresh. All right, 081 40989 and 070 800 989. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening, Mr. E.
Good evening. You're welcome to the program. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, good evening to your guest too. My name is Elder Dari Adebanjo.
All right, Elder.
To my submission.
Yes.
You see, I think there should be a desk officer in every police station or civil defense office that will be orientated on how to deal with rape, cases.
Okay.
Because until they know what they are into, they will not handle such cases with much seriousness.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, the way our police station is wired, most of the time they are aggressive. The way they even respond to you sometimes is out of this world.
Yeah.
They treat everybody like a criminal. They shout at you. They talk useless things. It's not done. When somebody has a case and it comes, let there be a desk in police stations or in civil defense offices. Then this NGO should, from time to time, bring them around, tell them what it takes to actually, cool down the tension of these rape victims so that they can get the best out of them.
Yeah.
Just imagine what you said concerning a policewoman, the way she responded to such. It's not done anywhere. These people are hot. And sometimes it takes the grace of God for these things to be healed in their heart.
Yeah.
So the NGO should be up to their responsibility and, reorientate these people on how to handle such cases. And I want to make appeal, even as I commend the state government, please, there should be a law that will make it a death penalty for everyone involved in this
rape. It should be a capital punishment.
There should be a capital punishment so that it will stem the tide of it. Just like Fresh said, it beats my imagination that somebody will find pleasure in 4-5-year-old an adult man. I mean, is that not stupidity? For God's sake. If not, something is involved beyond the ordinary.
Yeah.
And sometimes they say it's the way they dress. Must you act to them according to the way they dress? Must you be moved by the way they dress?
Yeah, because even if you look at, if you see some of these cases, what of the case of a man in his 20s raping a 78-year-old woman?
My brother, it is not done.
What?
Even the way they dress, is that your problem with the way they dress? So the way they dress, does it attract you? That's nonsense.
Well, thank you so much, Eda Dari. Okay, Sunday Pius also wrote on our Facebook page that good evening, he's and your guest. The high-rising cases of reported rape in the country is slowly getting out of hand. I believe rape has no place in a sane society. For this reason, all hands must be on deck to jointly curb the menace of rape within our immediate community and the country as a whole. On the part of the authority concerned, capital punishment should be meted out on anyone found culpable with regards to rape, no matter how highly placed they may be, or even if they are related to the victim, to serve as a deterrent to others. All right, I have Musa Bala on the line. Hello, Musa Bala.
Good evening, Mr. His.
Yes, good evening. You're welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much. My greetings to your guest.
Good evening.
On this sad topic, it's sad in the sense that it destroyed the society. Because when you destroy a woman, it destroys the society. And I want to express my appreciation that the government is now taking into consideration seriously on the menace of the society. There are other bad issues like child prostitution, baby factory, and so on and so on. But this one is paramount now. And I want to call on the Kaduna State government to please make this law an active law, not like the one in Lagos, where they pass law on kidnappers, that any kidnapper found guilty and to have killed his victim, he will also be killed. And after that, Evans was arrested, and almost 4 years now, the news is gradually dying, nothing takes place. The citizens are watching the judgment in Zaria to see how it will unfold.
Yes.
That will now give the citizen more reason to respect the government or not. But it's my hope that whatever penalty the government decided to take, when circumstances warrant that, it will go ahead.
All right.
May God continue to save us from this kind of menace. And I want to urge you all to please put more effort. This struggle is not only for the government, it's for all of us. Parents, media houses, as you are doing. May God bless you. You bring this very topic at the time it's supposed to come for sensitizing the public. And I want to call on the media, the public to please join hands. These menace have no boundary. You don't know your tribe or your religion or where you come from. They are everywhere. We should team up to ensure that we eradicate them. What even baffles me sometimes, if I ask this question, at the same time I answer myself, are these people parents? Unfortunately, sometimes you have parents doing it. I don't know what kind of parents they are. Do you have the love of children in your mind?
Some even doing it to their own children.
It's unfortunate, honestly. This kind of devilish act, I don't know where it has come from and where it is taking us. We have to join hands to stand up and stop it at its early stage.
All right.
May God continue to help us. Good day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Musa Bala. I'll quickly take some of these messages because we are really running out of time. I'll quickly take this from Ako J. Thompson. He's saying, good evening, presenters and all your guests in the studio. My take is this in this issue is that most of these people who go about raping innocent people are ritualists, and the government have not done anything. Government is doing something about it. At least there's a court the judgment, and also there is a social register, and the state government is taking steps. And who is saying that well, let's skip that. You can go read up some more of that comment. He's also said that rapists should be castrated and hanged to death. Well, Timothy Knock is saying it is our collective effort to say no to this evil called rape. My suggestion is that let law take its course on any person found wanting. May God bless Nigeria Bless you and bless your guests. Thank you so much. And John Eneche is saying that I think this should gear up the activities of some of our agencies existing and not known to the people at the local level. We need to go round on sensitization programs and make link between our agencies stronger than ever before. The evil happening won't stop until we all fight it and stand against it, not minding who the victim or rapist is. Yes.
If I may respond to the request for capital punishment.
Yeah.
The reason I know that one of the major challenges is incessant adjournment by the court. But the reason why they go through all those processes and give rooms for investigation is that there are some people that are wrongly accused too.
Yes.
So if we are to go for capital punishment, immediately she says this person rapes me, you hang the person without investigating and proper processes. It becomes a problem and people will eventually take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So that's why all the process is there. What I would have advised is in the court system, there should be a number of times that you can adjourn a rape case. That law would be better.
Yeah. So many people still calling, the phones are buzzing, but unfortunately we just have less than 4 minutes to wrap up the program, so we must have to wrap it up at this stage. First, I want to appreciate you all for having time to add your voice to our conversation this evening, and of course your contributions added value to what we did. I also want to appreciate the Honorable Commissioner for Human Services and Social Development, and the person of Haja Hafsat Baba. Thank you so much for contributing to the program and also enlightening us on what the state government is doing and steps to take in fighting this. And to Hawa Suleiman, a relation of a rape victim who shared that experience, we also thank you for the expose. And unfortunately, we want to urge the security agencies to please do the right thing, train your personnel properly, and empathize with victims. Don't add to their stress. And in the studio with me, I had Bilikis Yusuf. She's from the Center for Resolution and Study of Domestic Violence, CESDOF.
Yes, CESDOF.
All right. Bilikis, thank you so much for having time to be on the program.
Thank you for having me.
1 minute, your final word.
My final word will be for there to be awareness and collaboration between the traditional leaders, the CSOs, the government, and the ministries, so that everybody can actually see to it that the menace is curbed.
Thank you so much. And from my own end, I want to say this to you, that remember that in life, we meet people that add value to our lives, and we meet people that may not add value to our life. But we should remember also that there is a creator who have created us. We should treat our neighbors and love our neighbors the way we love ourselves. For that person that you love, you wouldn't want to inflict the person with a pain that at times may stay with the person forever. I'll say that rape is a crime. We should not encourage it in any way, and we should not cover it up in any way. For those that cover it up, they are as guilty as the perpetrators of the act itself. And let us not stigmatize any victim of rape. I am Ehis Adon. Call me the peacemaker with a passion for crowd satisfaction. On Tuesday, I'll be here for another package of the program, Ground Zero, right here on Invicta 98.9 FM. I also want to quickly thank Emmanuel Bonnet for the links and connect. I appreciate you too. To Martin Sabas Dangwa, I also thank you for the links and the connect. And to every other person, not forgetting Wisdom Agulana for linking us to the world via our online streaming. Big up. I am Ehis Adon. Once again, plant a tree today, nurture it, and watch it grow. May the good mighty Lord bless and keep us all.